Hey everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sol.
We're back for episode 5 of Secret Invasion. We weren't here for episode 4. Suffice to say, episode 4 ruled. Good stuff. Episode 5 ruled. End of review. This show hasn't missed once. I mean, I'm still salty about Maria dying, obviously, but other than that, this show hasn't missed once.
This show is so good, and it could be renamed Two Amazing Actors Sitting in a Room Talking to Each Other.
Because every scene, every other scene is two actors trying to outact each other. It's insane.
It's so good.
Oh, it's this show, and we got plenty of action in this episode. Don't get me wrong.
And last episode too.
We also got Olivia Colman, my favorite Olivia Colman scene this whole show so far.
This was her episode.
This was her episode. She dropped an Eddie Izzard bit on these guys, and I about fell off the couch. I mean, when she said cake or death, I audibly screamed. I was like, ah! I know that one.
I get that reference.
I understand that reference. Oh, it was so good. It was so excellent. But also like the scene with Gaia and Priscilla was all good. Everything with Rhodey back and forth on the phone with Gravik, everything with Nick. I mean, man, this episode didn't pull a single punch.
Yeah, and honestly, this is the first time going into a final episode of a Marvel series where I'm like, yo, are they about to stick the landing on this?
Stick this fucking landing? Because with the exception of like we knew Last of Us was going to, because it's The Last of Us that, you know. But when you look at every streaming series that I have either watched or that we have reviewed on this channel, it's always that penultimate episode and the finale where we start to be like, oh, you got it. Like, because that penultimate episode is always, I'm always like, how are they going to wrap this up? How? There's too much to do. There's too much to do. Or we get the case where going into the finale, it's like, oh man, like this is going to be awesome. And then they cut the runtime in half and try to do everything in half the time. This is the first time, with the exception of The Last of Us, in doing this channel that I think I've been confident going into a finale. Harley Quinn doesn't count. But like this is the first time going into the finale where I'm like, oh, they're about to do the thing.
They're about to do the thing.
Oh my God, they're gonna do it.
And they set everything up perfectly too. We got almost all of the answers.
Yeah. In
this episode. And so you want to just quickly go step by step of what this episode was?
This episode was Nick Fury realizing, bitch, I don't need anybody but me. I'm gonna go handle this thing. You know what? I'm done.
What a cold open too that we got. So Fury there in the hospital trying to speak to the president in a coma. Don't trust Rhodey.
Don't trust Rhodey. It wasn't the Russians. Don't trust Rhodey. It wasn't the Russians. Sir, you got to wait out here in the hallway. Oh, okay. Grabs a chair. Clack, clack, Nancy. Clack, clack. Woo! As soon as he grabbed that chair, I was like, what is he about to do? The minute he sat down and click, click, I was like, oh yeah.
I thought he was about to just like break through those doors.
I thought he was when he fuck something up. Yeah.
When he sat down, I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
That's his way of just being like, please come in. Please. I'm begging you. I'm begging someone to try something, please.
Yeah.
I think if it had been anyone but Rhodey, that would have gone a lot differently.
Yeah. And the fact Nick ain't playing no games.
He's done.
The second Rhodey walks in, bitch, I know you're a Skrull, and I got my gun right at you. Let's play.
This is the good version of Homelander in season 3 of The Boys, when Starlight threatens him with a tape and he says, yeah, fine, I'd lose everything, but then I'd have nothing to lose. That's where Nick's at. He's like, as I've basically lost my wife at this point. Talos is dead. Marie is dead. Rhodey's a Skrull. You know what? Fuck it. What happens, happens.
Yeah.
And that is a level of scary on Nick Fury I didn't know I needed in my life until I got it, and now I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, and even when he's out, he's in. But after the cold open, find out there's a little bit of a dissent happening in Gravik's camp, and people aren't too happy with Gravik.
That seed got planted in episode 2 or 3 when Gaia was sneaking around in the Super Skrull chamber when she heard the scientists arguing about how, like, every time he tells us to go look for MacGuffin here, it hasn't been there, and now we know what it was he was. I thought he was just sending them off to find more stuff for the Super Skrull program. I was kind of right. He was trying to find the Avengers DNA,
specifically Carol.
Yeah, the Harvest, which plays back into like episode 2 when he went and met with Rhodey, and Rhodey's like, should we call our friends? And he's like, the minute we get the Avengers involved, they turn into them, and suddenly the Avengers are terrorists. Well, the Harvest sounds like the next best way to make that happen. He might not be able to turn into Captain Marvel, but he can get Captain Marvel's powers.
And
with her DNA, you will have her parents. What?
And if she somehow comes down to Earth and he copies and has her powers, then who's Carol? But Gravik puts a hit on Vara, and he also orders Rhodey to tell the president about the Skrulls, because his plan is, if they find out about us, they'll nuke our facility, and then that'll be the start of World War III. And I'm hoping that in his plans is, if the US is going to nuke the facilities, that all of those Skrull refugees would not be collateral damage. But I don't think Gravik's thinking about that, because right now he is power hungry, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I also don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Like, I think in his mind, it's either we get what we want or we all die, and then you have to tear each other apart.
Yeah.
Like either we win or everyone loses.
He's playing spoiler.
He 1,000% is. It's if you're not first, you're last. If either I win or all of you or everyone's gonna die. I have a feeling he's gonna use that. I can totally see him being like, please nuke us. Here's what's gonna happen if you do. So and
then, as we spoke a little bit, Olivia Colman.
I'm just doing Olivia Colman things. Oh, man.
This was her episode.
Oh.
She taking out the SIS director, just coming in, guns blazing. She's also not playing any game. She is showing that she is that bitch, and I love it. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I'm trying to find the name of the actor that played the SIS director, because he looks like the guy who played Vincent Van Gogh in Doctor Who.
Yes.
Is it the same guy?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. It looked like him.
I only know that from watching someone else's review, because I've never seen Doctor
Who. we saw him in that hologram in the first episode, and I was like, he kind of looks like, and Olivia Colman was in Doctor Who. It kind of looks like, because that episode of Doctor Who is famous for that scene. And so when we saw him today, I wasn't sure, but I haven't been able to figure it out yet. Okay. I'm glad somebody else noticed it besides me, so I don't feel quite as crazy.
But we get, because we had the first person that was dissenting against Gravik, but now we have, except for the people that are going out to go kill Vara, although part of me thinks Gravik might have known that Vara was going to win in that situation, and he's just like, if they die, so what? Because I think he even on the phone call with Rhodey seemed like he wasn't trusting Rhodey, like his tone. And so I think he's like, I don't trust any of these mofos. And then he gets attacked, and it seems like they're almost going to fully do this coup on Gravik, but then he goes Super Skrull.
This is why I feel like there's a third player. I feel like Gravik and Rhodey, whoever she, because we know it's a female Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're answering to someone else. I feel like there's one more person at the top that we haven't seen yet.
Is it the Skrull that's on the other, except for so and so's colony?
I think it might have something to do with that. I really do. When in the first episode we saw that person kind of behind the glass looking down in the room where the Skrulls were absorbing people. It was
Mm-hmm.
never confirmed that was Rhodey. We assumed it was Rhodey because it kind of made sense to be the other
Yeah.
person. I almost wonder if that's actually whoever they
mentioned on the train.
Yeah, who the actual threat is, like the person really pulling the strings from behind the scenes. I don't know. I could also be completely wrong, but that's just kind of the feeling I get.
And then we get Fury and Gaia meeting in Brixton, and we get a little bit of the history of Brixton that I talked about in our second episode review. Go over there for that full explanation. But
and it's nice. It's nice that actually did mean something too.
Yeah.
Like it's nice that wasn't just a production note. Like the director picked. It's like no, like the character picked that for the same reason probably the director did, and I think that's great.
And the Skrulls really are playing the role of immigrants instead of being like immigrants to a country, it's immigrants to a planet. And you have the kind of different Skrulls going on what it is to be an immigrant, what you need to do to assimilate to where you're living, where you have Talos talking about being basically the good immigrant. Like, if we play by the rules, they're going to treat us well. You have the younger generation talking about, like, no matter what we do, they're not going to treat us well. So might as well just take over everything and be the bad guys that they think that we are. And then you kind of have too with like Priscilla going, oh, you could still be yourself, but you have to compromise. And so like she's more kind of like Talos, but a little bit in between. And you're really having this thing that sociologists like have studied about immigrant culture and assimilation of like moving from country to country. So it's kind of, you're seeing that here with the Skrulls and the fact that they are like the immigrants with Brixton. And so you get a little bit of that history there with the Windrush
and not to
generation.
jump ahead too far, but you kind of get into when you get into the conversation that Priscilla has with Gaia. I'm calling her Priscilla because I can never remember what her Skrull name is, but
Vara.
Vara, I keep forgetting. Yeah, it's just I knew it was Priscilla Fury. Anyway, when Gaia oversteps and is like, well, do you show your true skin around him? And she's just like, that's none of your business.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
I didn't mean to offend. No, you did.
You did. You 1,000% did. Because even before she said that, I was like, yeah, you did. And then she's like, yes, you did. I was like, yeah, tell her. Fucking tell her.
Yeah.
You don't have dragons here, bitch. So you can't just so it was that conversation she has with Priscilla I think Vara did a better job of conveying Talos's point. I think Talos is one of those people who's a great leader but a terrible speaker. He's not good at conveying what he really thinks. It makes sense in his head, but he can't verbalize it.
Right.
What Vara said to Gaia, I think, was kind of her way of being like, this, like, here's what your father was trying to say.
Right.
Bullet point, and then Gaia can have that moment of like, oh.
Yeah. And seeing too that Talos gets a proper Skrull funeral and that Gaia doesn't know the prayer, which we saw Talos doing it in the Captain Marvel movie. And now we're seeing Priscilla / Vara / Miss Nick Fury doing it in this episode. And kind of felt that too, as it's another thing about like immigrants and moving to different places is sometimes you don't know everything, whether that is a first or second generation that doesn't speak the language
Mhm.
of their ancestors or their like parents or grandparents, or they don't know all of the rituals of their parents or grandparents because they had to assimilate. And
Yeah.
so just that little piece there, like I felt it so much because I'm like, yeah, no, that is what happens is like you're there and you don't know and you feel guilty for not knowing
Yeah.
how to properly do something that you feel that you should know how to do, but it makes sense that you don't know how to do it.
It's also kind of an interesting moment to have that she has that moment with Vara because you got to remember up until this point, Gaia's whole thing has been living in our own skin, being
Mm,
true, real Skrulls. I'm helping people be realize what it really means to be a Skrull. And then have someone like Vara, who she just chastised a few scenes before, suddenly go, "Oh, you don't know our people's traditional funeral prayer? Hmm,
I do.
I do." So what's that about being a true Skrull and you couldn't even, like if you want to be shitty about it, it's like, oh really? So how were you going to give your father a proper Skrull burial if you didn't know the prayer? Guess that's one of the things about being a Skrull you don't actually know. And it's that idea of like, see, you don't know everything. Like you were saying.
Yeah,
So it's like, see, you've lost part of what it means to be a Skrull in this form of like losing this tradition from our people. So don't presume to act like you know better than all these other Skrulls who don't see things your way
yeah,
when you're not you're missing out on this very strong tradition. This is what we do for our
yeah,
people when they die.
yeah, and it was kind of like the, "See, you don't know everything," but then also kind of, she was also being gentle about it too.
Mhm. Oh
Like
yeah, she wasn't being she wasn't I wasn't being she
yeah.
wasn't being I was being shitty about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just
Vara was much nicer about it than I would have been. I would have been
yes.
like, "Oh, you need me to
Yeah.
oh, suddenly we don't mind so much that I'm here and I'm okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But we also learned that not only is Sonia that bitch, but Priscilla and Gaia are also that bitch too. And
Bruh.
I'm using bitch in the most positive way
Yeah.
ever.
These
Like
these weren't these weren't bitches. These were bitches. Like,
yes.
whoa. Oh, they let him the fuck have it.
Yeah. And I love Priscilla too speaking about the fact of, because she was asked, "Why are you here if you know that you're going to be killed? Like they're coming after you. This is my home. This is a place I made a life with my husband. I'm not leaving.
Mhm.
Imma fucking take people out, like, fucking try me." Like, both Nick yeah, no, and it's just like, it plays perfectly with Nick at the beginning of this Fury at the beginning of this, episode. See, I
Yeah.
said Nick, I'm a scroll. Um,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but Nick Fury at the beginning of this episode not playing around, Priscilla also not playing around. They're a match made in heaven, they're perfect for each other.
Well, look, if you're going to be married to Nick Fury for 30 some odd years, you better know how to handle your business when someone
Yeah.
busts into your house. Like we know Guy is this militant, so of course she does. But
Mhm.
if you're going to be married to Nick Fury, yeah, trust me, there's couples days at the shooting range with these two. I promise you.
And
they
speaking of couples days, we learned that they had a little retreat to Finland, which
Yeah.
is where we have another grave of Sir Nicholas Fury.
Like, why'd you choose to have your body here? I got these everywhere.
And we get a little bit of that Black Widow slash Mission Impossible mask.
Yeah.
It's-
Still not my favorite thing the MCU's ever done. It's to me, it's just a little weird by half. Like,
yeah. And the
but
fact too that he has doing the mask of a white guy, but he has, like, gloves on and everything and
yeah,
covered head it's like, "Oh, the new ones can do the whole body, but these are the old
this
ones
is
that
the
can
old
only
one.
do the
You
face."
can only do the face. Yeah. That's so good. But also, like, as somebody who just got back from a week-long trip and had a miserable experience flying, bullshit he got through security that easily. I'm just saying. Bullshit it moved. Atlanta, get your shit together is what I'm saying.
Atlanta is one of the busiest airports in the world and used to be the busiest.
Yeah,
It's
Atlanta,
lost that ranking.
your airport sucks. I'm just saying it right now. Your airport sucks. I walked 2 miles worth of steps just trying to get through security checkpoint is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
not
it is a
okay,
lot.
Atlanta.
It is a lot.
Anyway.
Sonia's also a fan of rap music, so
Damn right
queen.
she is.
She's just a queen. And in that moment too, I love that she finds out Rhodey's a Skrull and he goes, "And you thought I lost my touch." And I love, like, Fury's just like, "See, I'm not old."
Because the whole time he keeps talking about a Skrull and Rhodey, and she's just not putting 2 and 2 together. And she's like, wait. Why? What? He's like, Rhodey's a Skrull. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh.
And the whole first half of this season is everyone telling Nick Fury, "You've lost your touch. You're not as good as you used to be. Just like you're getting old, man."
Yeah.
Like, and then here he is, just like, I still got a few things up my sleeve.
Now the shit's hitting the fan, and suddenly everybody wants my help. Man, it's funny how that happens. Well,
And
even when
then
Gravik calls him, when he talks to Gravik on the phone,
yeah,
he's like, you're as ahead of me as I let you be. He's like, I'm just letting you do shit and seeing what happens, so that I can get a feel for what you're up to. Like, I'm still in this game,
right? And we get, and one thing I love about this show too is not only once but twice we get the question of where are the Avengers at, because we don't really get that question in all of the other seasons of MCU TV where we're like, why are the Avengers not being called? And it's asked again by Sonya. And I have the full quote here from Nick Fury going, "This is personal. We can't keep depending on these superheroes to swoop in and save our asses. None of them have lived the life I have. None of them can defend the world the way I can. The only power I have was planted between my ears by a single mother and wrapped around my finger by a woman who's far greater than I could ever hope to be. If that ain't enough, then I don't know what hope we have. If that ain't enough, maybe I'm just dust."
Jesus Christ. First of all, I love that despite what went down in the last episode, he leaves the house and keeps his ring on. He doesn't take it off like he usually does. He's keeping it on.
He loves her.
Because he loves that woman and she loves him. All things aside, they love each other. That whole moment was it. And you mentioned, like, yeah, because it hasn't been brought up a lot in other Marvel. It hasn't been brought up in a lot of Marvel movies. Pretty much after the Avengers, every time a solo character movie came out, like Thor: The Dark World, everyone's like, okay, all this shit's going on. How are there no other heroes here? Or this is going on with Iron Man, or this is going on with Captain America. How are none of the other heroes getting involved in this?
Right.
This is the first one where it really feels like they wrote in a good excuse, and they got that out of the way early. It's like, should we get the Avengers involved? Skrulls will just shapeshift into them and it'll create more problems. Okay, cool. I'm good now.
Yeah.
But they've continued to make the Avengers present in this universe without showing them, by referring to them, especially because we're dealing with Nick Fury, who was that through line. So it still maintains its place in the universe.
Yeah. And one thing I love about this is we all know who Nick Fury is, and there's no one else like him in the MCU or in Marvel Comics, like, let's just be honest. But the fact that he goes, "I'm the person I am because of my mother and because of my wife." So he's going, these two women are what created me and who I am. And the fact that there is that recognition of the women in his life.
It's great because it's one of there's not a guy alive. I won't say there's not, but there's nary a guy alive who doesn't look back on the person he is and yeah, hopefully, at least I hope this is true. Think about their mother's role in how they grew up. Most people, especially men, tend to attribute their brains to their mom and their heart to their dad, including in my case as well. So this whole season, this is not the first time he's talked about how smart his mom was. We know that his dad we know that his dad had heart, that his dad was bold because of that story he told in Winter Soldier about going door to door.
That was his grandfather.
Was it his grandfather? It was his father.
Yeah, I think it was the grandfather.
It was his grandfather, but even still, like, the male roles you have in your life, we tend to be the passionate. When you look at the typical mother and father roles in a family, the father tends to be associated with the passionate side, and the mother tends to be attributed with like the intellectual side. So it's good that he knows that he knows he's a smart enough man to know where he gets his good stuff from.
Yeah,
he gets it from his mom, who gives him his brains, and his wife, who gives him his passion, his love, his heart.
Yeah.
It's
And
adorable. I love it. More of that. Can we
the delivery of that line
90s
too?
sitcom of Nick and his wife? Just a 90s sitcom of Nick and Priscilla.
Please.
I'd watch that.
But Samuel L. Jackson's delivery and Olivia Colman just reacting and her facial expressions while she's listening to Nick give this speech. Like, again, this show could be called Two Actors Together Doing Great Stuff. Yeah.
to pull a Rick and Morty, it's two people in a room talking, and things are going on in the world. It's two people. It's just two people. It's what we're called. Just two actors.
And we get some more spy shit too, where like, okay, this is breath activated, this is face activated here. Here's my coat, here's my eye patch, like here's my shit. Which I'm like, this is like every spy movie. I love this. I love this shit.
It's everyone's favorite part of every Bond movie is when he's getting his cool gadgets. It's in the Batman movies when he's suiting up and putting the gear on. It's like
in the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. Iron Man, the first time he goes in the thing and the suit comes, like, this is what we're here for. We're watching Nick Fury do Nick Fury things. This is why we're here.
And he's ready, and
he's calling his team, but who's he calling?
Yeah. And do you think he was calling a team, or was he calling Gravik there? Because I feel like he was on the phone with Gravik.
I think he was calling whatever ally he thinks he has left, because he doesn't have Ross, he doesn't have Maria, he doesn't have Talos.
Is Gaia?
He might be calling Gaia. Gaia was my first thought.
Gaia said that she's gonna put on a good face, and if looking back at the trailers and Nick fighting Gravik in what we now know is the place where you become a Super Skrull.
Yeah.
Is Gaia gonna put Nick's face on?
Ooh, maybe. I was thinking more she put on her father. She put on Ben Mendelsohn's face.
I think she might.
Remember, Gravik doesn't know she's alive.
Yeah. But Gravik knows that Ben Mendelsohn is dead. So I feel like she's going to put on a Fury, and then the theory of the two Furies, although it's not going to be exactly the way that the person who I saw the theory of the two Furies was.
We already know.
To pass.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said may come to pass.
Well, we already know Gravik can turn into Fury.
Yeah.
Because he did it in the first episode. So I don't know. But Gaia and Olivia Colman are the only real allies I think Nick has right now, unless he calls an Avenger. I don't know who else he would call right now.
Yeah. And then I also too want to speak to Don Cheadle a little bit on the feminine energy that he is bringing, which you kind of knew there was a little bit of difference, and it wasn't even in that first speech, because like that first episode of where like they're having that great talk together, still feel that a little cheated that it was a scroll, but that seemed like regular Rhodey. But the rest, him being a little bit of an asshole and him just like he's been exuding feminine energy, and then when you find out that he is a woman,
Yeah.
like you're just like, yeah, no, this makes sense.
I think it's because up till that point, the people that Rhodey was talking to still had to believe he was Rhodey. When he was firing Nick, he needed Nick to think Rhodey was firing him, as opposed to when he was talking to Zara at the church, she already knew that this is a Skrull. So Rhodey can let down the veil a little bit.
Let his hair down.
Let his hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once Rhodey knows that Nick knows, Nick starts getting that. So it's been really interesting seeing Don Cheadle play two versions of the same character.
Yeah.
Depending on who he's talking to in the plot, in the story of this season. And also just getting to see Don Cheadle play a bad guy is excellent.
And you know how we were saying like Sonia and Priscilla and Gaia were that bitch. Rhodey was also that bitch, but in the bad way.
Rhodey was that bitch in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still, but it was evil. Like,
yes.
It was the bitches from America's Next Top Model or Project Runway. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
This is like when Gaia and Zara were being that bitch, it was Tanya or not Tanya, Project Runway. Help me here. Jesus Christ.
I didn't watch Project
Runway.
Oh my God. I watched America's
Tyra Banks. It's Tyra Banks.
Oh, she was America's Next Top Model.
She was Next Model. I always get those two mixed up. Anyway,
yeah, that's why I was just like, I didn't watch it.
Okay, when it was Gaia and Zara, they were Tyra Banks being that bitch.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle being that bitch is whoever Tyra Banks was yelling at. Like, yeah. Ooh.
And it is like, it was funny because the other day I was talking to a friend about something, and we were talking about how like women tend to hold on to anger way longer than men do. And like they say just woman's wrath is very much of a thing. And
the fury.
Yeah. And that is 100% who I wonder if the direction was like, Dawn, I'm gonna need you to be a sassy bitch. Like, just be the sassiest bitch you could ever be.
All the sassy gay friends your girlfriends have always had, like through college and all that. Be them.
Yes.
Ooh, we all know someone who has one, and we all have one if we're lucky. And having one is awesome. Having someone like that in your corner is the best.
Yeah, and
with theater kids, that's all you got to do. You'll have one.
It's great. So, I cannot say enough about Olivia Colman's acting.
Yeah,
I cannot say enough about Don Cheadle's acting, Samuel L. Jackson's acting. Emilia Clarke, the most expressive eyebrows in the business.
Oh my God, they're amazing. They are. I am jealous of her eyebrows. Seriously. And also to Kingsley Ben-Adir, who's playing Gravik too. Like, I feel like we haven't talked about him enough. He is rushing it as Gravik in this season so far. You talk about compelling. I mean, we talk about how MCU has compelling villains. Man, I'm putting Gravik up there with Loki. I mean, this is one of the best villain portrayals we've had in the MCU, bar none. Fight me on the top of this hill.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And going back to Olivia Colman, her quote of, "The males in my species are very similar. If they're not busy gaslighting you, they're threatening you with murder. That's what all podcasts are about."
Boom. Oh, I laughed so hard. I also felt incredibly attacked, but I laughed so hard.
The fact too that like he thought he had leverage, and she said, "Nah, I'm gonna kill you."
You know what? I can't wait to find out how much of this show actually had a script. And how much of this was just, hey, Olivia, go do your thing. Hey, Sam, you go do your thing. Like, I know we're in the middle of a writers and actors strike
For
and all
sh
that, but man, oh man.
Olivia Colman for sure was the one who said cake or death.
Oh
100%. That was
yeah.
not in the script. That was her.
And if that was in the script, bravo. But yeah, oh, it's so good. It's a show. This show is so good.
It boggles my mind that some people don't
There are
like it.
people that hate this show, and I'm like, I don't know what you want anymore. I really
Yeah.
don't. I don't know what it is that will make you happy anymore, because the stuff that I have seen people hate this year, where I'm like, this is literally everything you asked for.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you wanted.
Yeah. And you guys know, like, I've been critical of a bunch of we've been critical of a bunch of stuff. Go watch our She-Hulk reviews.
Bro, we're
Like,
not nice.
we're not
We're fair, but we're not nice.
or go watch our Black Adam review. Like,
Go watch our review of the season finale of Ted Lasso. Man, are we on opposite sides of
I
that.
mean, yes. I was gonna say you're not nice. When you said we, I was like, no,
Yeah,
you
no,
weren't
we're
nice.
on a, but like
Yeah.
we'll tell you guys when we don't like something. I'm not one
Yeah.
for mincing words. The show rules, and
Oh,
I
it's
don't.
so good.
Anytime I hear somebody say they're not enjoying it, I'm like, I don't know what more you want. I don't know what else.
This is right up my alley. I love a good spy thriller. I love just smart dialogue.
Yeah.
Just the
This is-
writing on this. If this doesn't get a nomination and or win for writing the following Emmys that come, like, I don't know what, because the writing on this
I know.
show.
I've lost all, like, this year's Emmy nominations surprised me a little bit with some of them, but there were also some others where I'm like, of course this didn't get nominated. Look, just saying, but neither Anthony Starr nor Patty Considine were nominated for their respective shows, and that's insane. That is insane. The fact that Anthony Starr has not been nominated for an Emmy for The Boys and that Patty Considine was not nominated for House of the Dragon is insane to me.
And go watch the Emmy nom video that Jason and I did.
Go do that. I can't wait for next week. I haven't been excited for a finale for a show
right
in a while.
We get this and Harley Quinn.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen our Harley Quinn review, well, we haven't put it up yet by the time that we're doing this live, but we just reacted to the first trailer for Harley Quinn season 4. Found it comes out in a week. That's great. That's awesome. I have stuff scheduled. I got stuff going on. Your boy would like some notice, please.
We got a week notice.
So we're figuring out plans for that, but and then also, I mean, August's right around the corner. We're gonna have both Ahsoka and Blue Beetle coming out like right next to each other. Oh, we're gonna be busy.
All the content for now until we run out of the content and there's nothing new because people won't pay their writers or actors, which we want to say we should have said this at the beginning.
At the top, and we totally forgot to say it at the top.
We are completely in support of SAG-AFTRA and the WGA strike, and we've learned that it is okay for people like us who are non-union members, to do reviews. But just pay your people. Just do it.
We're already doing a lot of looking into what exactly we can and can't get away with, and if at any point we do something that is in violation in some way, obviously please let us know nicely, and we will do our best to rectify it. The union side of Hollywood is one that a lot of people who aren't in it don't have a lot of knowledge of. Which hopefully this changes some of that, but yeah, so we're gonna do our best to make sure anything we do, because keep in mind, for anybody out there making content, like if you do something that violates the spirit of the strike, like those unions, and you're someone who's an aspiring writer or actor, they can bar you from ever joining the union. Granted, you'd have to fuck up royally, but and in bad faith. We're doing our best, and we're noobs, but by everything that we've been able to figure out so far, critics are not on strike. reviewers are not on strike, actors and writers are on strike.
Yeah.
So we're not going to let, and we don't like actively promote studios content on here.
And reviewing is not promoting.
Yeah, reviewing is just we're providing commentary. There are things that we like that we're looking forward to. We reacted to the Harley Quinn season 4 trailer. Spoiler alert, looks awesome, and I'm looking forward to watching the show. But I'm at the same time, I'm not sitting here telling you guys make sure you watch this show at this time on this thing.
Money, please.
Yeah, because you know what? Because we don't see a dime of that, so it doesn't do us any good. If we even get to post them, we'll see. Certain studios are not nice about it, but all that to say, we are fully in support of WGA and SAG-AFTRA, and we're hoping that now that kind of the two pillars of what makes Hollywood work are now not working, that it will shake some screws loose, because a lot of people figured
except for certain like A24 and other independent studios that are
which if A24 can do it, the big studios can do it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it's that easy for A24 to say, here's all these things we're going to do to make our movies pro-union, and for the union to be like, yeah, no, you're good for your 30-something movies you've gotten approved, the big studios can do it, is all I'm saying.
They also smartly budget their movies too, though.
They're good about it. Basically, what this comes down to, kids, is AI is bad. AI is bad. It is bad. Don't use AI. Please don't.
Even if it looks really cool in the opening of the show.
I skip the credits. I usually
I think they look so cool, and I'm fine with AI if AI is being used as a tool, not as a replacement.
Yeah, and I really, because it hasn't been confirmed one way or another if they did use AI or if it was the artist made it.
No,
did it get confirmed?
It has. So the people that did the thing came out and said that they used AI as a tool. It did not take anyone's jobs. That the studio or whatever that was in charge of creating the credits came out forward and said it didn't take anyone's jobs. We used it as a tool alongside animators, and so therefore it was like, they were like, everyone that's pissed off about this, you don't need to be pissed off about it because it didn't take anyone's jobs. Yeah.
All right.
So they came forward about it. Yeah.
Okay, because it still doesn't sit right with me.
I think it looks cool.
it looks incredible.
Yeah.
That has never been in question. It's just the whole AI thing. It doesn't sit right with me.
That's why I say using it as a tool, not as a replacement, is the way to go. Using technology to make someone's life easier is a good thing. Using technology to take someone's job or to give a reason why you should pay someone less, not a good thing. We know what these studios are like and what they'd rather do with AI, but if you have good studios like A24 so far is showing to be, if they use it as a tool and still pay people properly, then I'm good with it.
Yeah. Basically, no body scanning, guys. That absolutely not. Don't. We are seeing a lot of movie studio supervillain origin story right now, and I'm not in the mood for it.
Yeah,
I'm not in the mood for it.
But going back to Secret Invasion,
this
show is so good. We're excited.
Maybe the evil Skrulls have invaded the movie studios and they're tanking the industry on purpose. Maybe that's what it is.
If we see the Hollywood go against Russia, we know it's the Skrulls.
I mean, look, that's been going on for about a year, but Russia knows what they did. Okay. That's why, like, the fact that, like, you can tell this show was made before the Russia-Ukraine thing, because it's like, oh, this hits weird. This hits weird.
Yeah. But Russia was doing that already in 2014 when they took over some of their region already. So I mean,
anyway, Secret Invasion, guys, it's awesome. We love it. We hope you guys are loving it too. If you're watching it, let us know what you guys think. And any predictions for the finale, drop them into the comments for us. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll be live again next Thursday to talk about the finale, hopefully positively. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I'm really trying. I'm trying so hard.
They're already up. So please, dear God.
I'm so pumped. I want this. I want it now. I want it now.
Yeah.
And then just be on the lookout for Harley Quinn, because apparently that's coming too. We'll see. Anyway, let us know what you guys think down below. And as always, we'll see you guys again next time here on Off the Wall. Bye.